Hey there, welcome to LSAT Demon Daily. I'm Nathan Fox, one of the co-founders of LSAT Demon and our weekly podcast, Thinking LSAT. With me today, I have LSAT teacher extraordinaire, Erik Johansen. Also edits this podcast and puts together these agendas and does all sorts of other good work for us at LSAT Demon. Erik, we have an email in front of us from Julia.
Julia writes, "Hi, Ben, Nathan, and Erik. I just got my transcripts for CAS, that is LSAC's Credential Assembly Service, and I realized that my graduate school gave me an F as a final grade for the course I could not complete before I withdrew from my program, despite the instructor at the time informing me that I would receive an incomplete."
There's one word in there that is really good news for Julia.
Graduate.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This doesn't matter, Julia. This is a grad school program that you didn't finish. That means that it is not calculated in your UGPA, your undergraduate GPA. The undergraduate GPA is what law schools have to report to the American Bar Association. And therefore, the undergraduate GPA is what rankings agencies like US News use when they rank law schools. So law school admissions really cares about your undergraduate GPA. This F, and we'll deal with it. There's things that we can probably do to deal with this F. But because this F doesn't get rolled into your undergraduate GPA, it is a very tiny tangential issue to your applications and really just isn't going to matter.
Julia continues, before we move on, maybe just useful to reiterate for new listeners, for people who are new to the process of law school applications. Yes, that also means you cannot bring up your GPA with a stint in graduate school. We get sometimes people asking, should I go back to school in order to increase my GPA?
Or people who
Nope,
got a
doesn't
2.7 in undergrad and then they got a 3.7 in their master's program, and they think
Right.
that that's going to matter. Like, oh, well, no, because I did so much better in grad school. Sorry, I hate to break it to you. But yeah, those grades that you got when you were an irresponsible 18, 19-year-old, those count. And the grades that you got when you were a very responsible 25-year-old grad student, in a lot of ways, just don't count. So yeah, here it works in Julia's favor.
Yeah. I think Julia knows what's going on. She writes, "I did not complete the degree, but on the transcript, you can see that all 8 of the classes I took preceding the F were either A's or A minuses, which are reflective of my actual performances in my graduate study courses. I've emailed the school about an appeal, but in the case that I am denied, will an addendum make up for this? I understand that my LSAC GPA is created using my undergraduate GPA, so that's good news. But would this F on my graduate school transcript negatively affect my applications? Thanks in advance, Julia." And I think we've basically already answered Julia's question about whether or not it's going to have an effect. Very little, if at all.
I just want to compliment her. She's attacking this the way that a lawyer would attack the problem. Like I'm appealing it, first of all, because I want to get it taken off my transcript. If you get it taken off your transcript, then you're going to need to update LSAC, and they're going to need to do their update, and you're going to have to follow through and make sure that that update actually goes through so that the schools you're applying to never even see this F. That would be the best situation. But Julia says, in the event that that is denied, should I write an addendum? Probably, because that F is going to be there hanging at the very end of your academic record. And, to the extent that they're even going to notice it, and they might not, they literally might not even notice it. But to the extent that they do notice it, they're probably going to be scratching their heads like, what's up with this F? I would say something along the lines of, I was unable to finish this course. I talked to my instructor at the time. The instructor told me that I would get an incomplete. You might want to say very briefly why you didn't finish the program, because I think they're going to want to know. In fact, they might ask that specifically on the application, right?
Yeah, I believe that you were required to, and if not required, strongly encouraged to provide an explanation for any interruptions to your education at any level. So yeah, they're going to ask you about this anyways.
Right. So I think you should explain, and it could have been COVID. That's an easy explanation.
Mhm.
It could have been a family emergency. It could have been, I don't know. Just don't make it look like you're a problem. Make it look like it was something that was legitimately beyond your control and it was a one-time thing. Or it could be I decided as it turned out, I didn't actually want this degree. I just didn't want to complete this program. I did not, in fact, complete the program. I was doing well in it, but then I decided that I wanted to go to law school instead, and there was no value to me finishing the program. I don't know, whatever it is, you're going to tell them
Yeah.
briefly in one or two sentences. You're going to also explain that your instructor told you that you were going to get an incomplete, and then you were surprised to see that it was an actual F on your transcript. That's all the explanation I think that they need. And again, I don't think they're going to care in the first place. So then how much do they care about the addendum? Probably not very much, but you do need to answer that question if they ask, which I'm pretty sure most schools do.
Yeah. Just be brief, be honest. And I think anybody reading this is going to say, oh, okay, yeah, that's fine.
She decided not to finish that grad school program. She's applying to law school instead. Makes perfect sense. No big deal.
Totally.
Well, I mean, and cynically, right? Go back to what we were saying earlier. They don't give a shit because it doesn't affect their numbers. Like it just doesn't translate down to their American Bar Association Section 509 disclosure report. So US News isn't ever going to find out about Julia's F. If US News isn't going to find out about Julia's F, then the admissions department is like, oh, well, we like her other grades and we like her LSAT score. And the US News is going to find out about Julia's strong undergraduate GPA. US News is going to find out about Julia's strong LSAT score. The fact that she got this F it's nothing to us because it doesn't get reported to the world.
Right. Great. Thanks, Julia. Email daily@lsatdemon.com if you'd like to ask us a question or share some LSAT or law school admissions news. Thanks for listening.